Good morning, students. Today we are going to read the minor crops in the topic of agriculture and livestock in the subject of geography O levels. So concentrate yourself. Here we are going to start. The first minor crop that we are going to read is the maize, primarily used as fodder by animals, also consumed as coarse grain inferior meal by poor rural communities. It is a kharif crop that is sown in the June-July and harvested in October-November season. Main maize growing areas in the central and the northern KPK with secondary regions in the west, east and northwest of the main area grown also in the Punjab on a small scale in Sindh and Balochistan. Grows at warm temperature up to 35 degrees C. So this is the temperature that is required for the growing of the maize. Needs 50 to 500 millimeter of the rain. So water is required in less quantity. The next thing that we are going to read in the lecture is the millets. Jawar, that is sorghum, barley and bajra, that is millet, are also coarse grains used as fodder by the animals and chickens as well as food for the poor people. Can be grown on poorer soil in the dry areas where fewer irrigation facilities are required, are available. So it means less water is required for the growing of the millets. Main jawar areas are the Pochwa districts of the Attak, Rawalpindi, Chakwal and Khushab. Bajra in the Tharparkar district of the Sindh, whereas barley is grown in the selected parts of the Balochistan and the KPK. The next crop that we are going to read in the lecture is the pulses. Gram, peas, beans, moong, mash and masoor are important pulses grown in Pakistan. Pakistan is not self-sufficient in the production of the pulses and has to import them mainly from India every year. Important source of the non-animal protection, also useful in the nitrogen fixing in the soil. So this is the crop that is important for the nitrogen fixing in the soil. Gram is grown most extensively, 70% of the pulse growing area and 70% of the total pulse production. Moong, mash and masoor follow gram in terms of the production. So gram is the main production. After that moong, mash and masoor come. Mainly grown in Barani areas. Punjab's contribution is 75% of the total pulse growing areas. So it is mainly grown in the Punjab areas and 70% of the total production. Sindh is the second largest producer with 18% share, followed by the Balochistan and the KPK. Punjab and the eastern and the western parts of the Sindh are the main production areas. Mainly Punjab is the main production area where 70% of the yield is obtained. The next crop that we are going to read is the oil seeds. Oil seeds are used to extract edible oil and manufacture the vegetable ghee. Cotton seeds accounts for 60% of the total production. Rape seeds and mustard seeds are also important varieties grown extensively throughout Pakistan. Soya bean, sunflower, sesame, rye, castor and linseed seeds are also grown. These are important seeds and the oil of these seeds are expensive because they are not in plentiful amount in Pakistan. 90% of the sesame is grown in the Punjab. So Punjab is the main cultivating ground for the this crop. Oil seeds belong to the Rabi category and therefore wheat is fast replacing them in cultivation and they have to be imported. Groundnut is another important oil seed grown in the Punjab, Sindh and the KPK but not in Balochistan because Balochistan's conditions are not favorable for the growth of this crop. The next thing that we are going to read in the lecture is the vegetables. Several seasonal vegetables are grown throughout Pakistan in various parts of the year. Growing demand due to the increasing population as vegetables are important food items. Climatic and soil conditions, together with the inability of the every farmer to apportion a significant part of the land for vegetable cultivation, are the major restricting factors for achieving self-sufficiency in this sector of the agriculture. But main factor is the rapid population growth. That's why we are not able to meet the demands of the population. A peculiar pattern of the vegetable growing areas has emerged in the form of the major clusters of the vegetable cultivation lying close to the urban areas in the wake of the considerable increase in the percentage of the urban areas and an increased demand by the urban settlements. Potato production constitute 30% of the total area and total vegetable production. So out of the total yield, 30% is of potato. Punjab contributes 85% of the potato production. 40% of the tomato production comes from the KPK, 25% from the Sindh, 20% from Balochistan, and 15% from Punjab. So Punjab is the main cultivating area. Sindh produces 40% of the onion, whereas Punjab and Balochistan produce 25% each. So, as far as onion is concerned, the Sindh is the main cultivating area. The remaining production comes from the KPK. So, KPK's proportion is very small. On the whole, Punjab contributes 68% of the total vegetable production. Northeastern and central districts of the Lahore, Kasur, Gujranwala, Sheikhupura, Faisalabad, and Okada are the major vegetable growing areas. Canal irrigated districts of the Sindh and various parts of the Balochistan and the KPK also produce various vegetables. So Punjab is the main cultivating ground for the vegetables. Almost 70% yield is obtained from the Punjab. So this was the lecture, students. I hope so this will be much more easier for you to understand now. So read this lecture again, understand it, learn it, and make your notes. Thank you so much.